With advances in communications and artificial intelligence, it's not at all impossible to imagine underwater aircraft. The idea of an underwater aircraft carrier is not new. Can the US Navy make it into reality? Imagine a future in which nuclear attack submarines, SSNs, can deploy undersea drones, UUVs to hunt and possibly kill enemy subs, which amounts to a sort of underwater aircraft carrier. The US Navy at least is taking steps to make this a reality. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Futureality. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates about technology and development. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video we're going to discuss this plane could fly underwater. So without any further ado, let's begin. Combining submarine and reconnaissance aircraft technologies have long been a struggle for militaries across the world. Throughout World War II, 1939 to 1945, the attack aircraft and attack submarine both played a critical role in the road to total and complete victory over the Axis powers for the Allies. With the end of the war in 1945, United States Navy USN authorities began to entertain the idea of a submersible seaplane amidst a backdrop of ever-evolving technologies and the growing threat of the Soviet Union in the East. As its name implies, the submersible seaplane would have an inherent ability to cruise above the waterline and dive into the deep blue to neutralize enemy surface vessels, namely Soviet shipping, combining the proven traits of both airborne attack platform and hunting submarine in one complete package. In 1934, Boris Petrovich Ushakov, a student engineer at a Soviet military academy, devised a flying underwater boat, a 3-engine float plane designed to scout out enemy ships and then ambush them. Ushakov envisaged his craft flying ahead of the target, landing on the sea and then flooding its fuselage so that it could lie in wait beneath the surface and torpedo the ships as they sailed past. Ushakov submitted his radical design, which included a conning tower and periscope, to senior officers in 1936. But the concept was never put into practice, being deemed too heavy to be effective. Ushakov did not specify how he would seal the 3 radial engines against saltwater. The machine supposedly would have flown out to sea, landed on its pontoons like a normal seaplane, then flooded spaces within its wings and hull to sink. Approaching its target under electrical power while submerged, the flying sub could observe using its periscope or fire its 2 torpedoes. We have no idea how well Ushakov's clever concept would have worked out in combat because the Soviets never built it. But we do have a good idea of how the Japanese would have used their submarine aircraft carriers because they almost actually used them in battle. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, who led Japan's raid on Pearl Harbor, believed Japan had to carry the war to the American mainland. Japanese subs had already launched individual aircraft over US shores. Bigger submarine carriers could get past US defenses to launch airstrikes on strategic targets like the Panama Canal. A craft was built in 1962 by Donald Reid, an engineer at aircraft manufacturer North American Aviation. The Reid Flying Submarine RFS-1 was a true mongrel constructed by Reid in his spare time using leftover parts from other aircraft, and like Ushakov's design, it was a float plane. In December 1962, Convair received a contract from the US Navy to develop a unique, if not downright bizarre aircraft designed for anti-submarine warfare, ASW. Convair's mission was to design an aircraft that could scout the seas for enemy submarines and then, upon detection, track and destroy the enemy target underwater. Convair explored several options, finally proposing what it termed a high-density seaplane, crewed by 2, capable of carrying a payload of between 500 and 1,500 pounds. It was powered by 3 turbojets, 1 for cruising and 2 to aid in takeoff. For underwater operations, the craft was capable of taking on and expelling seawater, much like a conventional submarine. The company had already completed and tested the unique F-2Y Sea Dart ski-equipped twin-turbojet supersonic seaplane fighter from 1953 until 1957 for the service, and 5 of these prototypes were built. While able to exceed the speed of sound as a seaplane, an impressive feat all its own, the project was ended due to the loss of an aircraft and its test pilot in November 1954, while overall results of the program were judged as poor for the intended role. The company responded with a relatively large 2-man, 3-engine design built with a ventrally positioned retracting ski component with wingtip supports for stabilizing on the water. The aircraft was given a boat-like hull for on-water operations and could be fully sealed for submarine work. The cockpit section was stepped and given a small section of canopy for vision and housed 2 operating crew. The main planes were shoulder-mounted with a sweep back noted along the leading edges only. The tail unit comprised split horizontal planes and twin vertical tail planes. Propulsion was decided on through a pair of turbojet engines for general takeoff duties and a single turbofan engine to handle the cruising aspects of the craft when in flight. The aircraft could land under its own power on the surface of the water in the traditional way a flying boat or seaplane would. The takeoff jets would provide enough power to raise the fuselage from the surface of the water, to which the ventrally mounted ski component would come into play for skimming. Like the Ushakov, the high-density seaplane had pressure-proof compartments, floodable voids, and 3 engines with watertight doors. Also, like the Ushakov, there's no sign it was ever built. Allen's research assistant and librarian Elizabeth Emanuel compiled an impressive archive for her boss, who developed a passion for underwater adventures. The archive so impressed undersea explorer Jacques Cousteau when he visited the TV producer that he tried to hire her away. It's possible Emanuel had found and brought news of Convair San Diego-based research to Allen, providing the basis of the fictional flying sub. In the late 20th century, the Navy perfected the Regulus concept by developing the sub-launched Tomahawk cruise missile. A cross between a drone and a flying torpedo, the jet-powered Tomahawk is the Pentagon's long-range strike weapon of choice. What the Americans want sounds incredibly ambitious, says UK Royal Navy Commander Joan T. Powys, head of NATO's Submarine Rescue Service. If they achieve half of what they want from this machine, they'll be doing well. Others are more optimistic, especially in the light of advances in engineering and materials science since the last attempt, notably in lightweight carbon fiber composites and energy-dense batteries. There's probably no reason why it can't be done, says Hawks. Housing the crew in a watertight cabin is obviously preferable, and to counter its buoyancy, Palmer suggests borrowing another idea from Convair's design, floodable fuel tanks. If the fuel in the tanks is held in a rubber bladder, the craft can be submerged by letting water into the void vacated by fuel used on the outward trip. When it's time to surface, the water can simply be pumped out. For propulsion underwater, electric power is the preferred option, according to Ian Paul, an aerospace engineer at Cranfield University in the UK. Using batteries to drive electric motors when submerged could have another benefit, he says. Their weight would help counter the craft's buoyancy. In 2003, the Pentagon's Fringe Science Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency launched a study of reusable submersible aircraft. In 2006, Lockheed Martin evolved this multi-purpose unmanned aerial vehicle into the Cormorant project, named for the seabird, which can dive to astonishing depths. The Cormorant engineers solved the storage problem by fitting their plane into a missile sub's existing launch tube. The 19-foot-long drone would make up for the 7 Tomahawks it replaced with its endurance and reusability. To minimize detection risk while the Cormorant launched, the sub would release the drone underwater, then sail away. At the end of its mission, the drone would return to the sub's vicinity, deploy a parachute, and splash into the sea a short distance away. Hawks has a dramatic solution: copy what diving birds do. You might have to put the nose down and literally dive smack into the water, he says. Taking inspiration from birds would put submersible aircraft engineers in illustrious company. 19th century glider pioneer Otto Ledenthal and the early 20th century inventors of powered flight, the Wright brothers, are among those who did so, though it's no guarantee of success in this case. Whatever happens, says Hawks, it would certainly be spectacular. A good design for an underwater aircraft never came in the past, but this is a project that will be further thought out in the future. What do you think? Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now. And there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.